You didn't get other people to subscribe. That was your assignments.
Lord.
We are live. And the whole thing is that if you guys had got me to 10,000 subscribers before, I would have worn makeup. It would have happened.
No, you wouldn't have. You absolutely refused, no matter what we said.
No, so. I might have tried. I might not have worn makeup, but I might have worn high heels. I don't know.
You absolutely didn't. That's not true.
I got wedges you can wear, baby.
Yeah.
You got wedges?
I got wedges you can wear, baby.
My feet are so ugly that I don't think anybody should have to endure seeing me in high heels ever.
That's gross.
Well, that's what I'm saying. My name is Bill Marion, and this is Vlogmas 2021. Welcome. I have a very special guest tonight, a dear friend. She's a member of our church. She's a student minister there at Ray of Hope. We think the world of this young lady. She has got a bright, amazing future ahead of her, which is I don't know why she wants to be on this, but that's okay. She's here, ladies and gentlemen. Would you please welcome Miss Jessica Harris?
Hello.
Juan Thomas is already in the house. He is saying hello. Sup, Dr. J. Good to see you, by the way. And people are coming in here. And listen, we actually have more viewers. At least I lie and tell people this. No, I'm kidding. It's a true story. We actually have more people that watch us on the repeat than actually watch us on the live stream. So we're going to jump in. What Jessica wanted to do, which is, I don't understand why.
I couldn't think of anything else to do.
But she wanted to be on Vlogmas. She said, I want to be a part of this. And so I'm going to interview you, Pastor Bill. And I said, okay, that sounds wonderful.
Well, when Justin was on here last year, you asked him a bunch of questions, and I didn't know what to do, and I'm really good at asking dumb questions, so I figured I'd ask you a bunch of dumb questions.
Listen, there are no dumb questions, just dumb people. You'll never forget. I want to say hello to a few people tonight. Walter Langston is in the house, and the Kilted Adventurer is on. I've got to say this before we get going. The Kilted Adventurer, Toby, we had an interview today as well. And we had a fantastic time. We had great views, great interaction. It was just awesome. And so you want to make sure to go ahead and post a link there for his channel. And it's a Kilted Adventure, but also post the link to that interview if you can. It'll take just a few moments. But it was awesome. So you guys need to check that out as well and get to know Toby and his channel. He's got a great channel that's exploding. And in the chat room, there's all these other content creators. And they're talking and asking questions, so it's a lot of fun. So, by the way, Toby, it's good to see you. And I think that's everybody for now. Oh, Dennis Jackson says, Teresa and I are here. Hey, y'all. And in Southeastern Kentucky, hey, y'all means hi, everybody.
Thanks for putting that up for me.
I thought it was fun. Billy Strong's Adventure says, hey, y'all, which is Louisiana for hello, everybody. So now that I've translated. So
what about Tennessee? You got anything for Tennessee?
Man, Tennessee, we just kind of nod. And if we're driving, we point the finger
yeah,
up.
Hey, just the one.
So, y'all. So I'm going to go ahead and let you get started. Jessica says she's going to interview us tonight. Y'all stick around. We're going to interview you. And apparently some of these some are unscripted, some are scripted. Go ahead.
Yeah. Should I start with the dumb questions, Carolyn? The funny ones?
You can mix them in.
I should mix it. But should I start with a dumb one?
No, why not?
Okay.
Give people time to get in the room.
I'm getting nervous.
Okay, so the first one I'm going to ask I didn't send you because I didn't want to. So, what does Bigfoot eat for breakfast? Is my first question.
I think Bigfoot. Wow, I've never given that kind of thought. I mean, what does Bigfoot eat for breakfast? You're in the woods.
You knew.
Well,
how much you just
here's what I'm going to say. Bigfoot eats eggs and bacon.
Okay.
That's what he eats because he needs a nutritious breakfast. And then afterwards, he eats like Lucky Charms. Because I was taught when I was a kid, cereals like Lucky Charms and Cookie Crisp are a part of your complete and nutritious breakfast.
Right.
And I explained to O'Brien and Justin the other night that it's okay to take Chips Ahoy cookies and just kind of put them.
You told me that. You put it in like the cups that they come in and just pour milk and eat it like it's
You just eat it like it's cereal.
Are you going to get one?
because it's Cookie Crisp. Carolyn's getting one now.
Well, they're not the Cookie Crisp. You ate through them.
Right, because
you have Oreos?
This is it right here. You see, you buy these. Wait, I don't want to show the brand, but they have cream in the middle. Dark on either side. But anyway, they come in a little cup like this, and you just pour milk up here.
Bigfoot eats beef jerky for breakfast.
And Billy says Bigfoot eats beef jerky for breakfast. I think he's got a sweet tooth. I don't know.
Sounds great.
Beef jerky's as good as any. So there you go.
Breakfast?
Yeah, he's got an.
He said he saw it on TV.
His taste buds are eclectic.
What is eclectic?
Diverse.
Got it.
Sort of.
I'm in college.
Yes.
How's that working out for you?
Well, I had 2 exams today. See, so fun fact, I actually studied really hard for my geography exam this morning at 8 a.m.
Okay.
So
Which be honest, geography is which hand's the ball in. Come on. Go ahead.
So he passed all the papers out, and then we wait until everyone has one before we start. And I flipped it over. I was feeling great. First 4 questions, no idea. I looked at them and I was like, when did we talk about this?
I do not remember this.
So I skipped them. And then number 5, I was like, oh, got it. Number 6, no idea. That's how it was for the entire test. It was like, oh, I've got one. The next one, no clue. I've got another one. Next 5, I have absolutely no idea.
Toby says that Bigfoot eats pigs in a blanket.
Those are good.
Those are good.
I like pigs in a blanket. I like it. Go ahead and boot Gene Nicholson there. All right. So go ahead. Next question.
Who's your favorite kid?
Of all 3 of my kids,
Yes.
It depends on who's being nice at the time.
Okay.
It rotates. Sometimes it's one kid, sometimes it's another kid. You know, if they're all together and they're all being equally nice, it's who's spending the most money on me. That's a fact.
That's hilarious.
That is a fact.
Who's your favorite JMU kid?
Who's my favorite JMU
Don't
kid?
say me.
Really, it's the same rules apply. It's whoever's being nice.
So right now it's me. Right now
I don't know.
I'm
We're going to see how these questions go.
Oh.
We're going to see how
Well,
these
you
questions
saw
go.
most of them.
Yeah, I did, except these. I didn't see these. No,
Yeah, but
you're
these
doing great.
I told you these require stupid answers, so it's okay.
Well, I'm giving stupid answers.
That's
I'm
good.
doing
That's exactly
outstanding.
what I didn't tell you.
All right. Fine. Good.
Why do you hate Mondays so much?
Well, I spend all day Sunday. I get up, we get up very early on Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't stop all day. And depending on the time of year, this time of year, it starts slowing down historically, but we don't stop. So you know how I preach and how
Yes, I do.
I am a puddle of sweat when I'm done, whether it's Sunday night or Sunday morning.
You need to
doesn't
stop
matter.
wearing light shirts. You need to wear dark colors.
I need to just wear dark colors because literally I'm soaked. So
Your shirt changes color.
Yeah. And then that night afterwards, I feel like I've been on an all-day hike. And so I looked at my dad the other night. I said, man, I'm sore. Because we had a great service. We had people get saved Sunday morning. I was telling them about that earlier in the week. Sunday night, we had a kind of a business meeting, but it was a very serious kind of day, but in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're just sore. So Monday is literally that collapse day. So when anything happens on Monday, like out of the norm, I'm like, bah, you know, it's kind of crazy. I don't know what that was, by the way. Bah, I don't know what that was. Anyway, Bigfoot impersonation. Toby said, quit wearing white shirts. Ring around the collar is a thing. That hurt, Toby.
On
That
Sunday,
hurt.
he wore a light purple shirt.
Yeah.
And so it was dark purple in some areas. It looked like it was tie-dye.
Crystal and my kids and Carrie, they bought that. That was a part of a suit ensemble
Yes.
one year. I love that shirt. The shirt looks great, but
It
you're
looks
right.
great, but you can't
Sweats
preach too
Yeah.
hard. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's a style. It's the style of my forefathers. I was trained 3 points and a poem. That's the way I was trained. So when you go to a seminary, you get training to present things in an intellectual and proof-abiding manner. But when I started preaching, I immediately went back to my roots, which is Pentecostal style preaching, organized, educated, but
Screaming and scaring all the kids.
scaring all the kids. No, I'm kidding. But
It was dead silent in the back where we were because Shelly was collecting her thoughts, and out of nowhere we hear you scream from the sanctuary. All the kids jumped. They were like, "Oh, what's going on?"
Well,
I was like,
that'll teach
Pastor.
them. That'll teach them a lesson.
I was like, something's going on in there. Okay. Now, these are questions I did send you. I'm going to switch.
All right.
What's your favorite color?
Oh, my. Let's see. My favorite color. You're wearing, it's funny. I don't know how you ended up a Tennessee fan because you're from Virginia. How did that's my question real quick. How did you end up a Tennessee fan?
My dad and his stepdad both graduated from UTK.
Rocky Top.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fun fact. Have you ever been to a UT game?
Yes, about a dozen.
Yeah. So you know how when they sing Rocky Top after a touchdown, they say, "Come sweet home to me, good old Rocky Top, woo."
Yeah.
The woo.
Yeah.
My dad added that.
Is this one of those stories you're making up?
No. I don't do that.
He was in the band though, right? Like
yeah. So in the recording, the original recording of the song, there's just empty space there. When my dad was in the band, I don't know what year in college he was, but he and his friend Lauren were excited because they were winning, a big rival because they were good in 1990 whatever. So they were winning, and they decided they were going to spice it up. And so they screamed in that empty space.
Woo!
Yeah, and they were the only two people who did it. But the next time they got a touchdown, the rest of the band caught on, and then the whole stadium eventually caught on, and now it's a thing. So my dad.
You heard it first here. Bill Marion, a Nose for Life, on a live stream during Vlogmas, where the woo came in Rocky Top when UT is playing.
Chris Harris and Lauren Boyce. What can I say?
And here's the thing: I love UT. I'm a Michigan fan, but you can't live in.
I don't understand that.
Because I was born in Michigan. Dad pastored in Michigan. So in my formative years, he was just there like 2.5 years. But during those years, it was like I was like 10. It was the mid 80s, early 80s, mid 80s. And so it made an impression, and I became a Michigan fan, a Detroit fan. And so then we moved to Tennessee for the rest of my life, just about, or Kentucky. And the culture, the football culture in Tennessee is going to rub off on you. So I love Michigan. I still am a Wolverine fan. Go Big Blue. But I'm also a UT fan, and I'm not ashamed of that. It's okay to have two favorite teams. I'm a Tennessee Titans fan, but I don't like to admit this. I don't like to admit it publicly, but I'm also a Detroit Lions fan. And I'm a recovering Detroit Lions fan. We love you, Billy. Anyway, go ahead. So my favorite color. Wow. The standard answer to that is like blue, right? I mean, blue, or red.
For boys, it's typically red. For girls, it's typically pink. But you just.
That's sexist.
I'm just telling you the truth.
I thought you young people were all about Well,
my favorite color is yellow, so I'm off the grid.
My favorite color is a wavelength that cannot be seen.
What?
My favorite color is indigo.
Oh.
I'm just making that up. I guess, it's hard to a favorite color because especially since I've been doing videos and trying to learn more about filmmaking and stuff.
He wore a kilt to the game. I'm sorry, ADHD. He wore a kilt to the game.
You guys think I'm bad at it. She's the one doing the interview. And she's like, oh, squirrel. Anyway,
I have ADHD too.
I guess blue. You know what happens when you get two ADHD people together? It's like a negative and negative. It comes out positive. No, go ahead.
Always.
No, go ahead. Next one here. You see why we love Jessica? It's like she just belongs in the family. It's like she just belongs here. Go right ahead.
Well, you tell me all the time I remind you with your kids.
You do. There's that. You do.
What's your favorite brand of pen?
What is the name of Pilot? But what kind is it? Because it's a very
precise V5.
Here, throw it here.
Nice catch.
This I will not write with anything but a precise fit. This is it. I'm going to show you guys at home. This is the greatest pen that is ever made. If you go to school to get a degree where you have to take written detailed notes, this is the pen. It cuts into the paper. It helps stabilize your hand. It helps your thoughts flow into the ink, out the pen.
But if you're a heavy writer,
it's okay.
Go through the page?
You use 2 pages. Challenge yourself, Jessica. I don't know how you miss an answer in geography. Let's go back to that for a minute. If you were using one of these pens, you wouldn't have missed the answer.
That's not why I missed the answers, because the questions were stupid. That's why.
Stupid questions.
One of the questions was, what's the main religion in Cambodia or something? And I was like, I'm not from Cambodia. I don't know.
Oh, heaven help us. What are we going to do? Next question.
Okay, boomer.
Okay, ouch, that hurt. Go ahead.
I like him.
But I'm not a boomer. I'm too young to be a boomer, sort of. Depends on how you classify it. Next question.
What's your favorite season?
Oh, that's tough. Most of my life, I would have said fall. And everybody says fall. Carol, that's your favorite season still, isn't it? Fall.
Always.
Especially in Virginia, it's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
The 1 week we have fall.
Well, see, we're just the opposite. Coming from Tennessee, Carol and I both, I think Carol agree with this. We love fall better here because it's longer.
Yes.
It's just so long. And especially
in West Virginia, it's gorgeous.
It's so beautiful in West Virginia, and you can extend your fall. I'll share this, being that you live in Virginia now, is that you can actually, if you start West Virginia, you can stretch out fall like 3 months by going south.
Nice.
This weekend we'll go here and just keep moving south and have this really super long fall. And if you start up in Maine, even longer. That's what retired old people do.
Have you been to Maine? Maine
when I was a kid.
Beautiful.
Yes.
I went to a music camp in Maine for 2 summers,
Mm-hmm.
and literally it was like July 4th, and I was standing outside with jeans and a sweatshirt on. in Maine in July. It was wonderful.
But I heard though that because I don't remember this, I was very young. We were in Maine, in Maine. But from what I understand, like summer only lasts 2.5 weeks there, maybe 2 weeks. I don't know.
I was there for 3 weeks, and it was summer the whole time.
I don't know.
So.
I know this is that
But
fall.
you were wearing jeans and a sweatshirt, so
I
that
was.
really summer?
Is that
it was
really
funny
summer?
because it gets like in Fredericksburg, it gets up to like 110, 115 in the middle of like July, early August. And in Maine, the highest it got when I was there was like 85, and the counselors were freaking out that it was too hot. They made us stay inside on the day that it was 85 because they were afraid we were going to get heat stroke. And I was like, dude, I live in Fredericksburg. It's like 116 right
Go
now.
to Florida.
Fredericksburg, Fredericksburg is in Virginia.
Yes,
Obviously,
it is.
Harrisonburg is in Virginia, but
Heck yeah.
Fredericksburg is warmer than Harrisonburg. And a lot of people don't understand why is Virginia Beach warmer than Harrisonburg? They're closest,
in the mountains.
but we're in the mountains. The elevation makes a difference. You're
Yeah.
closer to the Allegheny front. So yeah, it's definitely, this is one of the cooler areas of the state. So,
Thanks, Carolyn.
so go right ahead. What's your next question there?
Joe.
Joe. These kids and Joe.
I think Justin started that. I don't know. How many hats do you have?
3, 4 that I wear, right? And then I got boggins too.
Yeah, if you
You have
include
what?
the boggins.
Beanie,
toboggan, beanie.
toboggans.
Toboggan.
Yeah.
Toboggans. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Ah.
I think
I just called it.
it's more like 5 or 6. If
Probably
you
5 or
include those.
6.
You only have 5 or 6 hats?
Yeah, but
I thought you were gonna have way more.
no,
My dad has like 57.
I used to have a lot of baseball hats that maybe are in a box somewhere. I don't know.
Riley and Dad
Not that I
collect
know of.
hats.
I don't like it when you cover your head personally, unless I know you're going to get sunburned.
Yeah, sunburnt or I'm gonna freeze to death. So either way. Jessica, before you leave tonight, have Mr. Bill show you my Dutch oven.
I can see it on
One.
the stove.
That is not. I don't know how to break this to you, man. I'm worried about you, Juan. I'm worried about you, Juan.
It's over there. I can see it.
What's up? Fire away with your next question. I want to see if I'm up for answering this
I'm
question.
just surprised you don't have like 87 hats. My brother and my dad both collect hats. Riley has like 30 and Dad has like 80.
Again, she's actually not lying. Every time I go to pick up a hat in the store that I like, she's like, "Nah."
Well, you don't have to wear it.
She's like, "Yeah, but but see, if you put it up somewhere, then it attracts dust,
Yeah.
and it's like then you got to clean it all the time. So it's like they just end up in a box. I used to have like I don't know how many baseball hats I had. Everything going to boat
We
hats.
got rid of them when we got married.
I think so. I think that's what happened. I think I think Carolyn threw them away. As she was like, enough of these hats.
Unbeknownst to you, they
Probably.
were all trash.
That's what happens. That's what happens
it's not
to.
unbeknownst to him now.
That's what happens to a lot of my clothes. Carolyn's like, yeah, you're done with that one.
Pretty much.
It's like
You
I will.
exposed
Let me
yourself,
help you out
Carolyn.
here.
She's like, I'm gonna do your laundry, baby, and she does, and I'm very grateful. Like my wife is so traditional that way because I did my own clothes when I was a single dad. I did the kids' clothes and all that stuff. We got married, and she's like, I'll do your clothes, and they all disappeared.
The ones that didn't look right on you.
The one, no, she's like, you're not wearing that
I do
anymore.
with my roommate's food. When they leave food on the counter that they are gonna come back and eat, but it sits there for 2 days and like it's gone. You're not eating it anymore.
There's a high probability that they're going to watch you, though. So I would be careful telling that. I'm just kidding.
Annabelle, Kayla, Elizabeth. Sorry.
There you go.
How long did you play football?
I played football for 12 years. I played football in elementary school, junior high school, and high school. I played, here's the thing. You could actually reduce that to 11.5 years. It really depends on how you
11
count
and a half.
football seasons. Because it's a matter of the fact that I was with the football team my second year, but I didn't do anything that year.
Your second year
At Union. And I didn't do anything. I had my picture made with the team and I filmed but after camp, I just sort of went, phased out. And I filmed again when I came back to school because I took a year off school, which means like, okay, before I get caught having bad grades, I'm going to leave and join the Army. Dennis Jackson, he knew me. I was kind of wild and crazy. And so I came back to Union and helped with the team, but I didn't play. But all in all, there's 12 years. Then I coached football for 5 years in Knox County, where Dennis Jackson hails from, if he's still here in the chat room, and coached football for 5 years and had a great time. And honestly, really thought and believed and was pursuing to be a football coach, teacher, the very typical boring. Not boring. I shouldn't say that because I don't want to offend anybody. But it was. Oh, hey, Dennis. Hey, how are you? But I was still going to be the prototypical high school football coach, and I got derailed. And I've told the story many times. Essentially, it came down to I got a divorce, and I had two babies, and moved to Tennessee because I felt like I had more support by family in Tennessee. Glad I moved to Tennessee. Grateful I moved to Tennessee, and I did have more support there. And went to finish at Wesleyan. And here's the funny story about that. I'm starting to make football connections again. It's in the summer. We built a house. It was before I met Carolyn, but we built a house there where I was going to school in Athens. Mm-hmm. And trying to plug into the community and trying to get to know people and all that stuff to do football again. And right as I'm making those connections to do my observations and the stuff that you've been doing for the past year in education, September 11th happens. So it's like, no, and I was in the National Guard. So I had to pack up and I was deployed. So all of those connections kind of went, woo, and I was deployed for the next 2 seasons. And so by the time I come back, I don't have any of these connections anymore. They're gone. So I have to rebuild connections again. And by that time, I was exhausted. Another thing that happened is over all of those different segments of school, education world had changed. It's why I argue education majors so much is you're getting into a very difficult field. And it's admirable.
A lot of politics.
A lot of politics. It takes a strong individual. It doesn't just take intelligence anymore. And I was, honest to goodness, I was terrified of being in a classroom and having that much accountability. There are other reasons too that I won't get into here, but that I just went, man, I don't know if I can do this. And I went into a panic. Looking back, I wish I'd just gone ahead and done it just for a while, a few years, because later I met Carolyn just a couple of years after that.
I was just saying,
and it would have helped us tremendously because later, I left Athens, Tennessee. We moved to Saudi Daisy, and we built a house there.
No. When we met,
we moved to Cleveland first, and hated Cleveland. I mean, I grew up in Cleveland.
And listen, we didn't technically move to Saudi. Yes, we were on the line, and that's our kids went to school, but we lived. Our address was
Hickson.
Yeah.
You're right. Our address is actually Hickson,
Were you
Tennessee.
on the
What's funny is the kids, as far as the school zoning, if you look at the map, we were literally right on the other side of the line. So they had to go to Saudi schools instead of all the Hickson schools.
What we call Saudi Daisy back home. I know Toby just put Saudi Daisy equals heaven on earth. And I'm like, we used to call it Sodom and Daisy. The Hickson,
I get that.
The Hickson Saudi Daisy line ran through our backyard.
Yep.
That's
literally.
So funny.
When I say our backyard, it's Mom's property behind our backyard, but it ran through there. So our kids ended up going to Saudi Daisy, but technically they could have gone to Hickson. I mean, it was one of those
we would
things.
have had to have filed a thing because I looked into it.
Okay, I don't remember how it worked now. Anna is in the house. Hello, Anna. Says, what up? If you ain't from Saudi, you ain't nobody. Now, Anna is a Union College graduate. She can tell you about the downtown metropolitan area of Barberville, Kentucky. And go Bulldogs and all of that. Anna, this is Jessica Harris. You've met Jessica. Jessica, this is Anna Perez. We were talking about your beautiful baby just before him. But that's how long I still love football. I would love to coach again. But it kind of goes back with what I was saying earlier. The situation would have to be right. There's certain things that I loved putting up with when I was younger. In my 20s, going to be a coach that now I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do equipment and stuff. I want to do, which is coaching. I mean, coaching is not just sitting there with a clipboard in the games. That's not what coaching is. It's kind of like ministry. People talk about getting into ministry, and you're learning this right now. Is getting into ministry is not just about that moment that you're getting to do your thing. It's about all of these stuff.
Hi, Crystal.
Hey, Crystal. It's about all of those moments going into ministry and the moments of follow-up leading out, after your moment is over and follow up after that. So yeah, that's what coaching is. Don't get sidetracked, Jessica. Focus.
Well, there's this stuff going on.
Stuff is happening. Stuff is happening.
Well, now that Crystal's home, I'm going to ask the favorite kid question again. Who's your favorite kid?
Who's my favorite kid? Well, okay.
Anna's in here, and Crystal's right there.
Anna's in the chat room. Crystal's here. The only safe way out of this one is just to say, I love all my children.
You don't have a favorite. Are you sure about that?
I don't have a favorite.
Crystal,
I don't
say
have.
it again, Crystal, say it again.
I'm the favorite. Okay.
Krista says, I'm the favorite.
Oh no, Anna's in the chat room. Watch out.
We're gonna start world.
She said, I'm the favorite.
We're gonna start World War III. Leave it to Jessica to start a major conflict in our family. But yeah, that's football in a nutshell. I still love football. I miss football. I miss helping. Here's something interesting. My coach Jamie Kennedy passed away, and we coached together in Knox County, Kentucky. He went on and won state championships in other parts of Kentucky. And Dennis, I don't know if you remember, if you're still in there, if you remember Coach K.
And said, I had the grandbaby.
I'm trying to talk about something serious here. So Dennis, I don't know if you're still in here, but went to his funeral. Bless his heart. He passed away from COVID this past summer. But of the kids we coached, like I want to say a dozen went on to college and played ball, and it was just awesome. I'm gonna try. I'm not gonna talk about anything serious.
About the coaching, just say on your favorite.
And Dennis, I was trying to talk about something serious, and these women will not let me.
I was listening, but there's lots of stuff going on. What about you? Who's your favorite kid, Carolyn?
Me.
This live stream is derailed already. It's just derailed.
You see, it wouldn't have been as fun if I had sent you that question.
Sure. Next question.
Moving on.
I don't know.
Dennis Jackson said, "You should know better by now." Yeah, but I just keep making the same mistake again and again.
How do you feel about tomatoes?
If you
I do. That's not why I asked the question. I just want to know.
This was a terrible idea. Let me explain to you what she's talking about. My kids.
I'm not talking about VeggieTales. I'm just asking about tomatoes in general.
Okay.
I hate tomatoes.
I think VeggieTales is a great IP.
I love VeggieTales.
It's a great IP. They've done a lot of great things in the Christian community.
I wasn't asking about VeggieTales. She just brought that up because I said tomatoes. I'm asking, how do you feel about the actual food? Because I hate them.
I think tomatoes are amazing.
Wrong. You're incorrect.
You say
what is that
tomato,
you said to me one time?
I say tomato.
It's okay. It's okay to disagree as long as you know you're wrong.
Right. You can have your opinion, but you can't have your own facts.
Tomatoes are disgusting.
Tomatoes are great. They make the world go round. Raise your own tomatoes, and you will love tomatoes. All right.
I've raised my own tomatoes. They're still disgusting.
Next question. Oh, how am I going to get through this?
You asked me to come up with something. This is your fault.
Go right ahead.
Jessica probably buys store-bought tomatoes. I actually don't buy any tomatoes because they're gross.
Same.
I don't know what, we had people in the chat room until y'all's little outburst. I think Anna's left the chat room. She's mad. See if she left the chat room. Now I'm gonna have to
She did not leave.
Now I'm gonna have to buy extra Christmas gifts. Dad, talk about what Toby said. Because Harry and the Henderson's the dumbest movie ever.
What is that?
It's a Bigfoot movie where Bigfoot is portrayed as loving and family-like, and we know Bigfoot is a mass murderer.
Is he?
Yes.
No, he's not even real, but that's okay.
I don't think. Yeah.
Okay. I have a lot of questions here. What do you have degrees in?
History. I was going to have a degree in education too, but I never did my student teaching, so I didn't walk with an education degree.
Her husband's a mass murderer.
Your husband is a mass. He's not. I mean that's in his past, Anna. That's nothing now that we should have to talk about now. That was a long time ago. We love Oz. We love him a lot. I love Oz is a great guy, man. He's quiet. In our family, that's rare. Because people think Nathan's quiet and he's not. They just don't know him.
I've never talked to Nathan.
Because if you know Nathan, he's like.
Well, even if you do talk to him the first couple times, you will think he's quiet. But once you get to know him,
he's crazy.
I've talked to Madison while Nathan was in the room. I've never talked to
Nathan.
Nathan.
I mean, that's about it's.
Now Madison really is quiet.
What Madison
Oh.
is quiet. I think. I mean, like I said, you never know somebody till you've known them a long time. But yeah, Nathan is actually a lot of fun. If you watch him play football, like on the PlayStation, what is it called, the Xbox? And I don't know what those kids are playing today. But if you watch Nathan play play the Xbox football and stuff with his friends, he's very loud. He's crazy. Anna says, you said Bigfoot is a mass murderer. So is that my husband? Oh, I see. You're talking about last night about me saying that Oz is Bigfoot.
Yeah.
I think Bigfoot's crazy. I think now, I mean, we had a very serious discussion about Bigfoot the other night. So I wouldn't want to confuse our 5 people.
I don't think serious discussion and Bigfoot belong in the same sentence. I think that's like an oxymoron.
What did you say?
I don't think the words serious discussion and Bigfoot belong in the same sentence.
Are you saying?
I think it's an oxymoron.
You are going to offend some people in here who believe that who believe that Bigfoot is there. He's real. He's
just because. Oh my gosh, I forget it again. You can disagree as long as you know you're wrong. There it is.
How do you know that there's no Bigfoot? How do you know?
I don't, but I'm just gonna guess.
How? I mean, what has you convinced that there are no big feet?
Well, I've never seen one.
Have you been everywhere?
Mermaids are real.
Mermaids are real. Why are
I don't know
Crystal
about that.
is now saying that mermaids are real?
There is evidence that mermaids are real.
I just want to say
Evidence that
I
mermaids are
disavow this chat altogether at this point. I'm here, but I disavow this chat. This is not a normal Vlogmas.
I don't think this is the real Bill Marion.
This is not the real Bill Marion.
This is totally the real Bill. This is what happens when we talk.
Exactly,
This is
yes.
the real Bill Marion. This is always what happens.
I will say this. I got to brag on Jessica for a minute. Is that Jessica, at the end of last year, she was growing in her biblical studies, and she's like, "Okay, what do I do this summer? Because I'm going home for summer." I'm like, "Okay," and I gave her these books of the Bible to read and stuff.
Talked about that.
We've talked
I
about a
did
lot
all
of it.
This nonsense.
It's not nonsense. You did great because you came back with like pages of questions. And we sat and we talked. We were like, okay, there's this one and there's this one and there's this one. And I was just happy I could hang with the questions because they were very complex questions because you did your homework. You did a great job. So, yay, Jessica.
I have other pages of notes on the stuff that I read because you told me to compare Genesis and John.
Yeah.
And also Matthew, Mark, and Luke.
Mm-hmm. The different
So
accounts in the gospel.
Lots of pages of lots of things.
We have more to talk about then.
Yep.
Anna Perez says, oh, wait, I can't wait. Billy at Strong's of Interest says, I think Bigfoot and the aliens rebuilt a secret Opryland
I said, Billy, we must find this place.
in the woods somewhere.
Did you see what he said up here? Jessica bringing Bill down to earth. I love this.
I
girl.
saw
love
that.
you too.
Who said that?
Tilted
Toby.
adventurer.
I don't like you either, Toby. Never. I was going to say something funny. Go ahead.
Let's ask a question that'll get you going on lots of tangents. Get all my questions.
Sorry.
You've seen them already.
Yeah, but I
Not
don't.
all of them.
Yeah, but
Well, I'm with the ones he's seen right now.
Ah, okay.
I didn't look at all of them. I really didn't. I may not have even opened your email. I don't know.
You said looks great. Are you telling me you lied to me?
No, I didn't lie. The email
You
looks
would
great.
never.
It wasn't
I would
an
never
email.
lie.
It wasn't an email.
Oh, it
I
wasn't.
sent it
Email.
to you over Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, I looked at Facebook. Facebook is amazing.
Facebook's pretty great.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm playing.
Anyways.
We're waiting.
I'm sorry.
People in the chat room are eagerly waiting.
Okay. Well, Anna's in the chat, so let me ask this question. What was your favorite part of Anna and Oz's wedding?
Oh man, that's a tough one. Really, Anna and Oz. I mean, honestly, and I'm not just taking the easy way out of that. It was an awkward moment because so many things were going on. We had driven. We landed at the airport there in Denver, and we were welcomed by a blizzard. We had issues because we'd already paid for the rental vehicle, but they needed a card with the same amount of money that the rental vehicle had already been paid for was on, which made no sense. And that held us up at the airport forever. I'm like trying to make sure it's a long story.
Mm.
And then we drive through this blizzard to get to Estes Park, which is way up in the mountains at 8,000 feet. And we were in these little cozy cabins, and it was wonderful. And then we go up the mountain even more into these mountains for where her wedding was actually at, and it was so beautiful.
Oh my goodness. But it was so cool. My camera was not.
It was beautiful, but it was so entirely. It was so cold. It was like frigid cold.
Well,
So-
it was Colorado in November.
And
some of her wedding photos even did not turn out all that great because
Right.
my camera was not like.
And I've never met Oz. I've never met Oz, and
Oh, that's right. You did.
I never. I think Carol. I knew who he was from Saudi because they went to high school
They
together.
went to high school together, but I don't even know that we had actually officially met him when.
No,
we were in high school.
I don't
We
think so.
actually officially met him in Colorado, right?
Yeah.
When they were getting, that's hilarious.
Right, and
That's
so
funny.
much for premarital counseling. I mean, it's like, okay, and so there was that, and so obviously then I'd never met his family,
Yeah.
and so it's this beautiful awkwardness, and I always, I hate awkward moments anyway.
You're the king of awkward.
I'm the king of anti-awkward moments. Hey, Junior Foreman, he says I just woke up from another nap for TV. Hey, welcome, Junior Foreman. We love it that you're here, all of you, by the way. And so I'm waiting to see if DJI Productions comes in here so we get that information out there. I'm still waiting. And so, DJ, if you are here among us, I feel like I'm at a seance now. If you are here with us, DJ, no, you have to watch some old school ghost stories for that.
Pretty sure DJ has him.
Is he? DJ, are you
I
there?
saw him earlier.
The
Kilt-
Kilted Adventurer likes my sarcasm.
It was
I'm a fan.
It was Colorado in November. Toby says, of course, it was snowy. And old Captain Obvious, this was the best Vlogmas ever.
I like him.
Toby's
I don't
one.
know who he is,
Toby's.
but I
You
like
know
him.
Toby, I was talking about him beforehand.
Well, I know, but I've never met the guy.
Oh, that's a good point. All right. So anyway, so that was, I guess, it was in Colorado. That was great.
Yeah.
And so there was just so much going on that
Well, you
it's hard to-
officiated. What was your favorite part of officiating? Like of the ceremony itself? Because there's always some I don't know, special intimate part of the couples becoming one.
all right. This is not in the service though.
I've never been to a wedding, so
No.
that's a lie. I have, but it's been 10 years.
This is not actually in. This was on the video, but it wasn't in a part of the ceremony. There was a clock between the two of them,
Yeah.
and they were unaware of the clock. And watching them talk, this big grandfather clock is between them, and they're leaning over, sort of around it, if you will, to lean over to talk.
Yeah.
And
That was in one of the photos.
yeah, and I videoed it because it was so beautiful. And this idea of, marriages are so difficult these days, to stay together. And so I'm always talking about how the reward in staying put in a marriage, there's a reward. Carol and I have been married 16 years, and it's hard when you're starting out and learning each other. Oh, it's so difficult, but we're starting after 16 years, you start seeing these amazing rewards of being faithful, being strong in a marriage. And you start going, oh my gosh, this is worth it. This is awesome. And when I saw the clock between them, in the spiritual mind, I started going, oh my goodness, if they'll just hold on, difficult times will pass, and seeing time between them and loving
That's
that.
really cute.
Oh, I loved it. It was beautiful. And we
That's from Princess Bride.
Yes, it is.
What's that?
Name that movie.
Marriage.
Marriage.
is
Marriage.
together today.
Have fun storming the
A
castle.
special arrangement. That dweeb within a dweeb.
Tween within it. I love it. I have totally lost this entire.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
That was Tommy's fault.
Dude, I told you I have ADHD.
Yeah, I want to interview you, Pastor Bill. Okay, go ahead. Next question.
What's your favorite hymn?
As you wish. Read Anna's comments.
I saw it.
Yes, she called me the princess, but as you wish. Go ahead.
I asked you, what's your favorite hymn?
Oh, I didn't hear my favorite hymn. Sorry. My favorite hymn. It is well with my soul.
Oh, that's a good.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. How Great Thou Art's my favorite.
How Great the Art's good too. Come on, it's like the top 40 of hymns, right?
Yeah.
You got your ones that just
Victory in Jesus. I like that one.
Victory in Jesus
See,
good.
here's the problem. I don't know a lot of hymns because I wasn't raised on hymns.
Nothing but
so
the blood of Jesus. That's
I know
another
that
what can
one.
wash away
You,
my sins.
you sang that on Sunday, and I felt so cool because I knew
She's
it.
like, yes, I got this
Yes,
one. I
well-
don't need the lyrics.
Well, because a lot of times at the end of, in the middle of your sermon or at the end, you'll just start singing a hymn that makes that goes with what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
it's a Pentecostal thing.
And I don't know the hymns because I was raised Pentecostal. So,
Well,
but I
no,
knew the
it's
one on
not that the
Sunday.
hymns are Pentecostal. It's
Well, I know.
it's
just
that
I know what you mean.
it's that when a pastor just starts singing,
Yeah.
"Hey, follow me,
Yeah.
piano player," the piano player's like, "I got nothing," But it's kind of a thing that. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I was raised on hymns, and I knew that one on Sunday, and I felt so cool.
Here's the thing. I got to say this seriously for a moment.
Especially
Is that
in the circle, everybody's looking at each other. Do you know the words?
Well, we were the.
I got to say this real quick before I hit both of you. Listen. We don't need to get too far. I love modern music, and you guys both know this. I love modern music, but we never need to get too far away from hymns. Hymns are great. They're scriptural, they're doctrinal, and they're wonderful. Anyway, now you can proceed to cackle and laugh. What's that?
You can modernize
Yeah, you can modernize them.
Like,
you can put guitars to them and
Pentatonics is a really good version of How Great Thou Art with Jennifer Hudson.
I love Pentatonics.
Is that really modernizing a song?
They're just amazing.
Just the way she does it is just beautiful. I mean, it's the same kind of like flow and like sound and speed and stuff, but just the way Jennifer Hudson sings it's so amazing. And it's a cappella because it's pentatonic.
Anything Jennifer Hudson's gonna sing is gonna be good.
Correct.
Because Jennifer Hudson could sing like an old, blue suede shoes, like an Elvis rock song, and make it sound spiritual.
Yeah.
Oh no, you just mentioned Elvis. Your mom's gonna come in the chat.
Oh wait, let's. If you say Elvis 3 times, Mom appears. Elvis.
What is
Elvis?
This, Bloody Mary?
Elvis. Listen, I'm gonna say something because his mom is there. Dennis Jackson says Teresa Doan could follow. You would think Teresa Doan's one of the greatest. That's my cousin.
Yes,
Teresa Doan is one of the greatest piano players I've ever met.
His cousin, she's in Kentucky, and she's such a sweet lady.
She's a wonderful. She's just a wonderful saint of God. But her piano playing is divine.
Yes,
and it's because her fingers are this long and skinny. And when she used to play, it just used to look like somebody had set fire to her hands. I mean, Jerry Lee Lewis has nothing on my cousin Teresa. And I'll tell you what, that whole clan, they're all talented. Caitlin is a great piano player too. She's a phenomenal piano player.
It's been neat and amazing to watch Caitlin become where she is in life now through Facebook.
Caitlin is because yes, and I remember when Caitlin's husband, he joined the Army or his National Guard.
Yeah.
And he was like an E4 coming into Bluegrass Army Depot. And then he went to officer candidate school, and then he became, and now I think he's a chaplain last time I checked, and now he's the pastor at First Baptist there in Barberville, which is so awesome. So it's really cool. But Dennis Jackson here in the chat could probably tell everybody stories about me, and I'm glad he doesn't, because he knew me at a very vulnerable time, several vulnerable times in my life. He was there when I killed my first deer. He is just their family, and that's what I love about going back to Knox County, going back to Barberville, and why I wanted Anna to go to Union College.
I love how that's one of your monumental moments. He was there when I killed my first deer.
I might have to escort this young lady out. That's a big deal.
Is when you killed your
Look,
deer.
Look, that is a monumental moment.
I've never killed a deer.
He used to sing this song that I still sing when I go deer hunting, which I haven't been able to go deer hunting in 4 years, so I'm going through withdrawal. But that's the life that I'm in now. But every time, like I would, because I think it's one of the last years I hunted in Chattanooga, I was in my tree stand, and I've got these deer playing under me, but the big buck isn't coming in. I'm calling it, and I'm not hearing it. And he used to sing the song, and I'm not going to sing the song and embarrass him or anybody else. It was just a song we kind of made up at the camp, and it was basically called Buck Fever. Oh. Okay, it was funny then, okay? But anyway, and so I will, every time now, I sing that if I'm out deer hunting. And then Anna's like, wait, Dad actually killed one? Don't even start. Don't even start. Do you know how many deer I have passed up on in the past 10 years? I'm not even going to do this. Anyway, I'm offended now, Anna.
That's funny.
Go ahead.
I don't even remember what question I asked.
Oh, you
favorite hymn. That's what I asked you.
Favorite hymn. The Jeopardy theme song is playing, kid.
Leave me alone. I have a lot of questions. What if your name wasn't Bill, what do you think it would or should be?
Robert.
Robert.
Yes, because my mom almost named me Robert. And I've always got a kick out of that. I was going to be a Bobby. It's the South, man. And in the South, everybody's Bobby after Bobby Lee. I mean, you have to understand that.
I may have changed our first.
I know, but
I-
my name is gonna be Robert.
I have relatives in Tennessee, and none of them are named Bobby. I would just like to. put
They're
that
not.
out there.
They're not really from Tennessee.
They are totally from
No,
Tennessee.
you got. There's got to be a Bobby in the family somewhere. And in Kentucky,
There's 2 Bobs on my mom's side, but they're from California.
in
so it's
Kentucky,
not-
there's gonna be a Bill, a Beckham.
Beckham.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never heard that as a first name.
I might have
before.
made that one up because I see Dennis in here. It's like my mind was. I was trying to go through everybody.
So Anna totally joked on you about the deer. So Billy said, "Well, it looks like Anna just dropped on the favorite kid list."
According
I didn't
to
want to hurt Bambi.
experts like Toby, he says Robert is the most used male name in the English language. It means famous. See, Robert would have been absolutely appropriate for me
Because he's famous.
because he's famous. I am being asked onto other people's live streams.
So I should feel famous then.
You
because
should feel-
you
well-
have me on your live stream.
I mean, it was Toby's live stream, but still, it was still. So I don't know, maybe kind of famous.
I feel famous.
You feel famous.
My mom's gonna watch it, so
Hey, hi mom.
she's not here.
Your
She's at
mom's
an
a very,
MRI, but
very,
she's
very
gonna
sweet
watch
lady.
it when she's not at her MRI.
When she's not at her MRI, she's gonna watch it. Well,
Yeah.
hi mom. It's good to see you, mom. Go ahead.
What is your favorite or least favorite phrase or expression?
My favorite or least favorite. My favorite expression.
Guilted Adventures that I would rather have Jessica on my live stream after seeing this.
You can't pick rat poop out of pepper.
What?
That's a great
Yes,
expression.
That's a good one.
That's a great expression.
That's a good one.
What?
Because think about rat poop for a minute, then think about pepper, and think about trying to pick rat poop out of pepper. Right. It's difficult. So it's like it's splitting hairs. There's another expression. I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question because I'm like, do you mean facial expression? I don't know.
Like things you say, like favorite or least favorite, like
Obedience
Oh,
is
the
better
good
than
one,
sac.
yeah.
Anna did pull one out from Anna. Obedience is better sac. That is, but that's not really an expression. That's the Bible. I mean, so that's like. But I do say, but you're right. I do say that a lot. So
something to live by.
something to live by. Well, sure. It takes one to know one. I'm sorry, not exactly spiritual, but true. Let's see. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
That's the best I got on that question. I was like, good question though.
Okay, you're gonna go off on a different tangent for this one too, just because I know you. What's your favorite Bible story?
Jacob, probably. The story of Jacob is awesome.
Well, aren't there like multiple stories of Jacob?
Because
he was Jacob and then he was Israel and
you can
Right,
definitely
right.
break Jacob's life up into like 3 acts. But his rise to being who you have all these different people in the Bible who are amazing, right? And Jacob is but Jacob's the anti-hero. He's not a typical biblical hero. He's not David. David's awesome. King David, giant killer David. And Jacob's like, God has to change his name because Jacob's name means deceiver. And so
that's
growing
what it
up,
was.
when I was growing up, it's almost like I recognized the character traits that I had more in Jacob when I was younger, and had to have God do a miracle in my life so that I could go from being Jacob to being Israel. Someone of covenant, someone with promise, someone with credit, with the ability to do amazing things. Whereas Jacob was a deceiver. He was a con artist. He was always trying, and it never worked for him. Not only was he a con artist, but he was really, really bad at it. And I was when I was younger and before I really made Christ Lord of my life, I was so bad at being bad. Like, my other people in the dorms, when they partied. Like
That's hilarious.
like-
That's literally
like loud music, and they were the king. And when I partied, it was just sort of, nah. It's like, nah, you're not really that good at this, Bill. It was one of those things. I was never really good at being bad. But I was terrible at trying to be good. So I always respected Jacob's he's trying to get somewhere in life, but even when he gets there, it's not pleasant, because then his baby, Joseph, I love Joseph so much. Oh, you've killed my son. He doesn't know what happened to his son. And it's just understanding life. It's not so much that I want my life to be like Jacob or that my life is identical to Jacob. It's that Jacob, I just really respect the honesty and the authenticity in which his story, his account is given to us. It's so much honesty. David's is too, for that matter. And how can you not love David? But that's everybody's answer. I love David. It's like, of course you do. He's a giant slayer.
Love certain parts of David, because David also was kind of a jerk.
David had a bad.
David also was not a great human.
No. David was not a great human, and the bottom line is we can actually, and I don't want to get too preachy in here, but I will.
See, this is a good question. You're on.
It is a good question, because the bottom line is that David never really had it figured out for most of his life. When David's younger, even during the giant slaying times, you can read through the Psalms that we are pretty sure that he wrote then, and he struggles with his identity. He struggles with who he is. He struggles with sin. He struggles. He's in that constant struggle that we all are in. Even when he's killing the giant, he faces rejection later from Saul. His dad originally rejects him. If you think about it for a minute, Jesse doesn't want Samuel to meet David, because David is a lesser son in the house of Jesse. They have to go get David out in the field, because they're like, yeah, don't bring David out here. He's weird. He writes music. He's really into poetry. He's the weird kid. He's always with the sheep. He wasn't really accepted well in the house of Jesse. He's not accepted in the house of Saul. Saul's like, come play music for me. But when he goes out to kill the Goliath, Saul doesn't know who he is. So Saul, even though he's been to Saul's palace a few times, he's played the palace a few times. I thought that was funny. Anyway, he's played the palace a few times. Saul doesn't recognize him. And so he's had all these different moments in life that he's had to face rejection. He marries Saul's daughter, and then Saul's daughter rejects him because she wants daddy to be forever. So she doesn't pick David over daddy. And even though they're married, so even David's daughter rejects him. So yeah, so David is a great character study. Go ahead.
Nice, good stuff. Hold on, it's on Snapchat. I lost my questions. Here we go. You're an only child, right?
Yes, I am an only child.
Do you ever wish that you had a sibling?
Yes, and I think mom and
Crystal said no.
I think mom and dad made a huge mistake in only having one child, because now they're like, wow, when you're not here for Christmas, we're so lonely. And I'm like, you should have had more than one child. We could have rotated. So yeah, more than one child would have been better.
See, sometimes I wish that I was an only child.
I think a lot of people don't understand the benefits of having siblings. And I don't think we're supposed to. I think there are those rare occasions where you can only have one child because that's all you can have and things like that. So I'm not putting people down. Please don't misunderstand me. But if you can have more than one, you should have more than one. And that's just my opinion.
Apostle Lionel's is
Apostle Lionel. Oh, I did not see that. Hello. Great to see you, Apostle Lionel. Welcome. I did not know Apostle Lionel was in here. Good to see you. If you can have more than one kid, though, you need to have more than one child. You definitely do. That's my opinion. See, it's beneficial.
I was an only child for when did Riley go to college? In 2017 until, I guess now because we go to the same college. But when Riley went to college, it was like just me. Mm-hmm. It was so nice.
I'm alone.
I love Riley, but I don't know about. It was nice to not have to deal with like sharing food.
Well, it's because you're growing up, though.
Yeah.
Because you grow up and you do want your own space, and it's time to have your own space. It's time to evolve and step out. But those relationships come back around later, and they can be beneficial.
Now,
absolutely.
Which is good because he gives me rides to places.
He gives you rides to places, and it's a big help, and it'd be a big help with mom and dad.
He found the piano player for us for Sunday, so.
Yay, brother.
was
Do you
Riley.
see? Do you see how awesome
Go
Riley is?
Riley.
All right, then. See, there you go. But like Anna's trying to get my daughter Anna saying Ezekiel is the only child. Anna, I have already blessed you to have 5, my daughter, and you are going to have 5.
That's a lot.
5 children.
That's what I'm saying.
5's a lot.
Crystal,
I'll
you too, Chris. You
I'll
too.
stick with like 3. Annabelle wants like 7.
5, and then Carolyn's having 5. I'm just kidding, Carolyn.
Whoa! Whoa!
Carolyn's like, nope.
Whoa!
Nope. Let's
No
see where
kids,
we at
just
here.
3 cats.
Killed Adventure says, yes, parenting is 10 times harder with a second child. And it's, I cannot read that far. You're going to have to read that comment because I don't have my glasses. It's geometric, also 10 times as rewarding. I am an only child. But you have 2. And Toby has 2 kids that are geniuses. So it's totally not fair because his children, when I was doing BBS one year at Abba's house and had his son at BBS, and he gave this answer to a question that I thought, oh my word, he's a genius. And turns out he really is a genius. He's absolutely brilliant. Walter Langston says, no kids, just 3 cats. Well, there you go, Walter. Just have 3 cats.
I will say I do like the fact that I have a brother though, because I think it made me more resilient because we fought a lot. And so when people like say crap to me, I'm just like, dude, I grew up with a brother. Like it doesn't faze me. I'm good.
I think it does help socialize a kid better when you have more than one.
Well, Riley is the reason I have friends because when I came to JMU, he introduced me to all the people and he introduced me to Annabelle.
I am just hearing
The rest is history.
I am just hearing good things about having more than one child.
But living with them, being raised at the same time as a sibling is difficult.
Crystal wasn't that bad, was it? I just got a very serious look. I think it's, you know
it's
what?
It's hard to be raised at the same time as someone else.
It's hard when you're very close in age.
Yeah.
Well, that is tough.
But are only 2 years apart.
But here's the thing, though. I still think it helps socialize you better to know how to get along better in a group of people. To know, I'm not talking about like if you're a freshman in school and trying to learn the ropes of a new time. I'm talking about just generally speaking. I was an only child, and I'm telling you, the first 10 years of adulthood, I spent trying to learn how to interact in certain situations because I felt so awkward all the time. You mean I don't get the last piece of pizza? Of course I do. You know, I'm trying to learn those little things. And my friends were a big help, but learning how to interact that way, I think it's important. I don't think that's a rule. I just think it happens that way sometimes. I don't know. I don't know. Kilted Adventure says, I have 5 steps, so wasn't very spoiled.
That's what sucked the most, was being the youngest.
Well,
but now that I have Allie, I'm not the youngest anymore because she's younger than me. So
I think my kids.
I can spoil her.
I think my kids had fun blaming the other kids for stuff. See, if I start blaming my brothers or sisters when I was at home, they would think that I had a mental disorder, and that'd have been the end of it. It'd be like, no, you don't have any brothers and sisters.
Exactly.
They're like, oh yeah, sorry. So it's you kind of get stuck in that situation where the both the positive and negative attention is always on you. And I don't know. I think that it's very subjective. I don't think that I can be objective about it, but those are my opinions.
See, but we couldn't do that either because some stuff whenever Riley did something, it was very obvious that it was Riley. Whenever I did something, it was very obvious that it was me. So I couldn't be like, Riley did that because it was like it was you. Are you serious?
There was a little bit of that with R3. There was a little bit of that with R3. So I'm not sure. All right, next question. We are running out of time, man. We are running out of time.
Would you ever want to try to climb Mount Everest?
Wow, because I've been watching, this, because Carolyn knows I did a study about climb. I cannot believe you asked that question.
Everest
It's
was
hilarious.
the last thing we learned about in geography before our final today. So that's why I asked.
I have been studying about climbing mountains. It's actually for a series of messages that I want to preach in the summer. Nice. And in retrospect, it's something because I love hiking. And so when I think about Carolyn and I go hiking together occasionally, but most of the time I'm either by myself or with Billy McDaniel or with Toby, who's here in the comments today. And I can't imagine climbing something like Everest. What's the other one? I always want to say Y2K, but it was something else. What is the other mountain? K2, K12?
I don't know.
I can't remember right now, but anyway.
8 of the world's highest peaks are in Nepal, so you got a lot to pick from.
Any of those big mountains in Nepal.
There you go.
I think if I could go back in time and give it a try, I think I would love to try something like that.
Yeah.
Because I love climbing Appalachian Mountains or Rocky Mountains. I love that. But even then, I've never climbed a 14er. You know, so, and that's like your first step of going to the big mountains. K2, thank you. DJ's here. Okay, everybody, I've got to stop for a minute because DJ, I've been waiting on you. DJ, his name's Nathan Harris. And DJ, I'm going to put you on the spot here. And if the information that you emailed to me, if you could drop that right here into the, about the Firestone address and all that stuff, if you could drop that in. DJI is having a rough Christmas season. Let me explain why. He's had an issue with his vehicle. He took the vehicle to Firestone, but because of some situations that took place, he is not able to pay to get his car out of the shop where they have fixed it. We have vetted this. This is what really happened. And we're asking for some help to get him to where he's driving and getting back and forth to work during the holiday season. Now, you guys have been great, but there have been a few people who have said, okay, the GoFundMe that we have down there, we have a GoFundMe here that Carolyn just posted. Some people do not like giving to Facebook. They don't like giving to Facebook because Facebook does take a percentage out of the GoFundMe. And there were some other issues that had come up a few years ago that's got people a little nervous about giving through Facebook. So I was contacted through email or through a message earlier today from one of our longtime subscribers and viewers. And they said, how can we send this money to Firestone? The total bill on this is $1,800. We've received money already through the GoFundMe page. But what we're trying to do now is go ahead and finish this through. We've also got some other things happening. So in other words, another person who watches our videos has made some calls to some other Firestone to see if we can make some type of arrangement to maybe work out a deal to where he can go ahead and get the car and we can work out a deal for later. But if you want to give, but you don't want to give through Facebook and you can send a check in the mail, I know that there's some of you that could probably pay the whole thing off right now. And if you can do that, that'd be great. And it's something like $1,650 at this point or $1,600, something like that. It's like $1,600. So if you can go ahead and write the check for the whole thing, that would be awesome. But for many of you, that is just entirely too much. The reality of it is that anything that you can contribute is going to be extremely appreciated, not just by Nathan. By the way, DJ's name, I know he doesn't mind me saying this, is Nathan. And Nathan Williams is his last name. Yeah. All of the information there is under DJI. Now, I want you to understand something. DJI, this is a little embarrassing for him because he's humble enough to ask. And in a situation like this where you're humble enough to ask, that means there's no pride. Again, we have vetted the story. But if you're in a situation, man, where you're like reaching out to your YouTube friends and people that he's been a part of this channel. I want to say DJ since 2016, but my memory's rough. When you're in that kind of dire straits, obviously you understand this is a big need. And so we need your help. And so I'm going to ask all of you to think of the season that we're in. It's a season of giving, but for DJ, it needs to be also a season of receiving. And so we want to help him as best as we can. The GoFundMe page is up there at the top there of the notes. Carolyn Marion, she said, here's the link to give to a good cause this Christmas season. It's a GoFundMe page, but if you can send a check or a money order in the mail, that would be awesome. And all of DJ's information is there, right there. DJI, it says it's a lot, 7985 Centennial Drive, Memphis. And then it has the number of the store and so on. The store, the Firestone that this thing is at, this particular store, they don't take payments over the phone. So you do have to mail a money order or a check. It's like I want to call them and go, dude, be able to take over the phone payments, but they can't do it. It's kind of weird, but they can't do it, but they will take a check. If you do want to call, you want to talk to Lori Talent. We've already had people contact Lori down there. And you know what? In the season that we're in right now, too, I just want to make sure DJ knows that he's not really DJ, he's Nathan. I think it's funny that my son's name is William Nathan and DJ's name is Nathan Williams. And when I saw that, man, it just touched me. And I said, you know what? We got to get this right. And so I wanted to make sure that we step up for somebody who's helped out with this channel since 2016, who was watching our videos when nobody watched our cringeworthy videos. And so I want to make sure to give you the chance. Guys, please give to this year. And I would greatly appreciate it. I'm not getting a dime of it, and Nathan's not keeping a dime of it. It's all going to his car and getting him back on the road so that he can work. He's a dad. So you have to, this is pivotal. And because, if somebody's without a car, what happens is you get a domino effect. You get it to where all of a sudden it's the car's not working. The next month you're facing eviction notices and so on and so on. Miracle is in the house. Miracle is hello, daughter of mine. I love Miracle is wonderful. We love her.
I had lunch with her on Sunday.
We are meeting with her this Thursday to talk about the future. It's going to be awesome. All right, last question, Jessica. Fire away. Welcome, Miracle, by the way. Good to see you.
Make it a good one.
Make it a good one. Last question.
What is the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Oh, my. You have asked some good questions. Love the Lord with all your heart and lean not into your own understanding.
It's Proverbs something.
That is because it kind of cures what ails you.
Yeah.
Another one is push. Pray until something happens. In other words, prayer is
I've never heard that. That's
push.
funny.
We wrote it on the kids. Crystal probably remembers this. We wrote push on their mirror when they were getting dressed every morning to remember. Pray until something happens. Put wheels under your prayer. So you've got push, pray until something happens, but put wheels under your prayers. In other words, man, when you're praying for something, there is still an action to your faith. You have to put action to your faith. So, it's like, oh Lord, I want to catch a fish so bad. And you're sitting on the couch and you're not fishing.
What is it you normally say? Like you can pray for the mountain to move, but if there's a backhoe and dynamite,
yeah. God,
use the backhoe and dynamite.
move this mountain. And meanwhile, there's a backhoe, gas, dynamite right at the foot of the mountain. Man, get that mountain down. So put action or put wheels under your faith. That's another thing that's great. Man, faith is not magic. And people got to stop acting like faith and magic are the same thing because they're not. They're just not the same thing. Reaping and sowing is not karma. You've heard me talk about this before. Karma, for those of you who don't know any better, karma is not the same thing. Christians don't believe in karma. They don't. We believe in reaping and sowing, but we don't believe in karma. There is a huge difference, and I'll talk about it some other time on here, but just trust me, one has to do with every action has an opposite and equal reaction. That's not reaping and sowing. There's an increase. When you sow, that there is an increase that comes. That's not the same as karma. Mm-hmm. Karma talks about the balance, and then Taoism wants to talk about the balance of the forces of nature. And it's like, man, there's no balance. It's all God. And it's not good versus evil. You hear that a lot around people who just don't know any better. How it's a constant war of good versus evil. And I want to go, man, there's no war. God wins. Good wins. I've read the end of the book. We win. So it's really us a lot of times versus ourselves and our own lack of faith. That's what it comes down to. I'll give you one more question.
One more question.
One more.
The rest of these are all about the Bible.
Okay, that's fine.
Why did you decide to become a pastor? When and why did you decide to become a pastor?
I've known I was going to be a preacher since I was 5 years old.
Nice.
But I did not want... My dad was a preacher. My grandfather was a preacher. My great-grandfather was a preacher. I did not want that. It was in 2003. I was in a friend of mine's kitchen, and we were talking, and I knew it was not to go into too much detail, but as we were talking, it hit me that no matter where I ran, I could run off somewhere, and I tried to join the army to escape my calling. I had tried to run off and do this. And I realized in that moment why it was that no matter what I tried to do in life, none of it was working. And the reason why none of it was working is because the only time I felt the sense of satisfaction that I do here and that I did at Abba's house is when I was walking in my calling. Then I felt the sense of, it was like, yeah, this makes sense.
It made sense.
And even if I did it it didn't matter what I was getting paid. If I was doing what I was called to do, I was, I hate to use the word happy because happy means happenstance. And so I don't like the word happy, but contentment, where I felt comfortable in my own skin. That doesn't mean I'm comfortable in every situation because I'm socially awkward anyway, big time. And Carolyn will tell you that. But I'm talking about comfortable in my own skin to where other people's opinion, I couldn't care less. People can say what they want to, and I'm like, because I know that I know that I know. I have a prayer life with the Most High, and we talk, and what He says matters and trumps everything else. And when you start walking in that, man, there's a sense of enlightenment that hits you of saying, wow, I finally tapped into my calling. And we talk about calling all the time where people are called to this and then we're called to that. But I'm going to tell you something. You know it when you see it. You know it when you feel it. You're like, there it is. That makes sense to me. And at that point, you look at other people who want to argue with you about your life and you go, talk to the hand. You may humor them. You may love on them. You may go, bless your heart. But at the end of the day, you're like, yeah, I know. Mm-hmm.
Did anyone ever try to talk you out of it?
Yeah. I had people still trying to talk me out of it. You ask Carolyn and people all the time. That's somebody love his heart. He said the other day, because I wear a tie when I preach, because that's me. That's just that's what I do. And they posted, it's an acquaintance of mine too. I love this person to death, but they said, "You're not any more anointed when you're wearing a tie preaching." And I did not do this, but I so wanted to go, "Neither are you in your skinny pants." But I don't talk back on Facebook. I don't engage into any kind of that stuff on Facebook because people will start lobbing grenades. And I'm like, no. But I thought it was funny because he's an acquaintance of mine. But I thought, no. And then I thought about inboxing him, but then I thought, no, because he might not know how to take it. So, but I'm like, you're comfortable in your calling, even if you're not comfortable in a circle of people or whatever, you're still comfortable in your calling, doing what God has called you to do. And you do it with authority. You do it with anointing. And the results, I mean, look what happens. Look what's happened at the church. We've had 30 people in the past 12 months that have joined the church and all. You know this. We've had people get saved. You were one of them. That's right. We've had people get saved and filled with the Holy Ghost. We've had things happen in an awesome kind of way. So at that point, hey, God is delivering. I'm just an instrument. Right. I'm just a tool, but God's doing it, and to Him be praised. And that's what it comes down to. It's approaching your calling with humility and realizing I don't have this figured out. This is bigger than me. This is a whole lot bigger than me. And that's what I'm always telling you is the first thing to accept is you can't do it by yourself. You can't do it by yourself. It is very difficult to do anything in ministry, and you're going to be in children's ministry, which I think you're phenomenal at, and we love it.
I don't know about
that's what you know what? Well, here's the thing. When
I'm in the ministry right now, but I don't know in the future.
But you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
And you're the one. You said, "Hey, I want to try to do this." And we're like, "Hey, that's a great idea." And God's worked with you every single step. And Carol and I are both very, very, very proud of you. And the last we heard from Sister Shelley, who's over our children's ministry, you are doing a fabulous job.
She texted yesterday because I was with her. She texted.
Was she okay?
Yeah.
Well, excellent. Well, listen, guys, we have been at this an hour and 10 minutes, which means we have exceeded the mandate. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight. Thank you, Jessica Harris, for coming in here and just completely messing up my Vlogmas.
It was fun. Thanks for having me.
Well, we had a great time, and we're very grateful for you, and we look for good things ahead. And for the rest of you tonight, here's some things that's going on tomorrow night. Vlogmas, same time, same channel. Thursday night, Toby, the Kilted Adventurer dude, is going to be with me, but not with me. We're gonna actually share a screen thing and do something together. If you're interested in doing a Vlogmas with us, let us know. Give us a holler, and we will talk and chat it up, and it'll be so much fun. And so we love you guys. We will see you guys tomorrow night. See ya.
That's funny.
It is. I know. It's great.